Good morning, TPRA grantees. Thanks again for joining us in another webinar. This one will be focusing in on recruitment. You know, it's the lifeblood of what we're doing with the TPRA program and also for each one of your pathways. Today, we are excited to have kind of one of our leaders in the TPRA recruitment type of avenue. Some of our partners from DMAC and Perry Community School District, and they'll be talking a little bit about the things that they have done to help solidify their recruitment process for their districts. Just a few things. We're really excited about all the things that are occurring across the state. I did send out a message today answering some questions about taxes and FICA. We are trying to get some policy from not only from the state, but the Department of Revenue, so that we can answer questions regarding those pieces. There's been a lot of questions regarding that. So please look at your email, and we'll continue to send out information as we can. You know, right now we have over 600 apprentices that are signed up for this program across the state. It's such a great thing for each district. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a high school principal, and it was extremely difficult in the recruiting process over the course of the last few years. And this program was built to help support that and to really try to create our own pathways within our own systems to help facilitate growth within your communities. And so when you sit back and you look at recruitment, it is so important to have really great collaboration amongst the different partners. It's extremely important to get that information out to people. So taking a look at your system and how are you communicating that with your students and your associates and the people in your community is one of the most important things. As a former principal, I know that my best programs came from the communication that was occurring in the people that were inspiring our students. And so taking a close look at, do they have the information that they need? Do they understand the intricacies of an RA program? Making sure that you are getting the tools out to those people to communicate that to your students is such an important factor. A few weeks ago, we did send a postcard and a one-pager that we hope that you're utilizing and getting information out, posting it. We left blanks on it so that you could put your own information on there for your contacts. And please let us know if you need anything else when it comes to recruitment. We're well on our way to get to our goal of over 1,000 apprentices, and we want to continue that path, and we want to help you however we can. We did recently get some information that we are going to be able to extend it, the program, with a no cost extension for an extra year. And so that's something that we'll be getting more information out to all of you. But that is something that we're excited to do. And hopefully the funds that are remaining in your projects and your programs, you'll be able to utilize in a positive way. With that said, I'd like to introduce Clark Wicks, who is the superintendent of Perry Schools, and also Eddie Diaz from DMAC here up in Perry. Eddie, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, thank you, Chris. Just to confirm, can you see our slide?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. All right. Good morning, everybody. As Chris mentioned, my name is Chris. My name is Eddie, actually. My name is Eddie Diaz. I am the site director for Des Moines Area Community College in Perry. With me, I have Clark Wicks, Connie Sines, and Jessica Chapman. We also have a much bigger team that you can see there on our screen. So I do want to take a moment to recognize them. We have Laura Skill, who's the Director of Learning Supports for Perry Community School Districts. Joey Scott, an Executive Assistant, District Data Assistant for Perry Community School Districts. As mentioned, Jessica's here with DMAC. Ken Bultman is the Director of Finance and Business Services at Perry Community School District. Connie Sines is here. She's a DMAC advisor. Erin Conlon is not here, but she is with UNI as an advisor. And then Jen, who's on the screen, and Patrick Rice from Iowa Workforce Development have all been great partners with us as we've taken this journey. So today we're going to share what we think is a recruiting success for our program and some of the strategies that we implemented. Because of this team, we have been able to recruit a total of 26 apprentices so far, which is more than we anticipated. We currently have 15 apprentices that we're hoping to get in the fall that will get us close to 40, which is double of what we originally intended. So in that respect, things are going fairly well for us. As you can see, there's two of our cohorts. There's some people missing in the pictures, but what we're going to review is 3 strategies that we implemented that I think helped us. A would be the cohort approach. We really focus on developing cohorts. B would be stackable credentials, just different options for students. And then our internal approach versus external for recruitment that we initiated. As we prepared this presentation, those are the main things. There's going to be other things that come up. As Chris mentioned, probably the underlying success that we've had is the close relationship between the community college and the school district. If you don't have that close relationship with your RTI provider, we do suggest that that's one of the first steps that you take because this has been a big project, but that close communication relationship has made it much more feasible. All right, so let's get started with the cohort approach. Many of you that are sitting on this webinar have probably obtained a graduate degree of some sort and did the cohort model when you did so. You may know research shows that cohort models are more successful for students for a bunch of reasons. But the truth is that's not the reason we initially did it. When we first started developing the cohort approach, we were just looking at what's going to give us the most bang for our buck. We knew this was going to be a big undertaking, and we wanted to get at least a cohort of 10 to be able to invest in needed resources. Instead of having 1 or 2 people going off in different directions, we wanted as many of them on the same path so that we could designate a academic advisor for them. We could offer face-to-face classes for them close to home, although some of them are taking them online. And we could just streamline as many of those resources into one group of people instead of a bunch of individuals. Well, that also allowed us to meet. We have monthly meetings with all that group that was in that first slide, including IWD and UNI, DMAC, and Perry Community School Districts. And we wanted to make sure that if we all met, that we were spending valuable time for a big group of students. So that was the initial reason that we did it. But what ended up happening is that the cohort model really helped our recruitment numbers. What we found out is that a lot of people were fearful about going back to school, and we didn't have some folks that wanted to do it unless somebody else that they knew was going to do it. Our first orientation or informational was in April, even before we found out that the school district was going to get their grant. And what we saw at those informationals was a sense of excitement of people seeing other people that they knew that were thinking about taking this leap of faith. And once the word started spreading, people started building some momentum and excitement. And since then, we've had 2 more cohorts start, and we found out that sometimes it's one person that brings 2 more people. And so by allowing them to take as many classes as possible together, they're able to build a sense of community. They have relied on each other during some of the stressful times. We've seen some crying. We've seen some people wanting to quit already. We've seen some people that are really struggling. And that sense of community has helped them and has really spread the positives of this program to other people in the community that might be considering doing it. We have couples doing, we have spouses doing it. We have siblings that are taking their apprenticeship together. We even have a mother-son duo that are apprentices together. So clearly the cohort model has been something that has not only allowed them to be more successful, but has increased our recruitment numbers because people are much more comfortable going on a journey like this in a group. Anything else from our group here? Okay, so I'll go on to the next strategy. If there's any questions on that, how we did that, feel free to let us know. I will say that our cohorts, our biggest cohort's 13, our smallest cohort is 4. Ideally, you'd like a big cohort, but I think even a cohort of 4 is fine. So those of you that don't think you can get a big cohort like 13, I would suggest you get a group of 3 to 4. Again, it'll help recruitment, but ultimately it'll, I think, lead to higher academic success for the students. Our next one, and this goes back to the close relationship between your RTI and your school district. Because unless you're in higher ed, stackable credentials or IWD with apprenticeship, stackable credentials is not a very common terminology, although it's becoming much more common. As we read the grant proposal, one of the things they looked at is how many credentials will people get from this apprenticeship? And so we were able to work with DMAC to create at least a paraeducator certificate on top of the associate's degree. So we have folks in our apprenticeship that are going to go the full distance and hopefully become teachers. But what we realized is that a lot of folks were not sure if they were willing or able to invest the amount of time to go all the way to the end. But by putting a stackable credential at the beginning, which is only 2 semesters, only a few classes, it made it much more reachable for some of them that were doubting their abilities. They were doubting if they would be able to balance their life, because a lot of these people have jobs or multiple jobs. They have kids. They haven't been to college for some time. And by giving them what we're calling them off ramps, during our orientations, we would tell them, look, here's your first off ramp. If you decide that after you complete the certificate, you have reached the end of your goals, then you've been successful. You will get a certificate, you will graduate. But if you decide that this has been a great experience and you're much closer to an associate's degree, then that's the next off ramp. And for a small number of them, mostly those that already have some credential, you will even get to the teaching endorsement or teaching license. Our estimates at this point is that we'll have 20+ people get a paraeducator certificate, which is great. A lot of our paraeducators didn't have certificates, or at least credit certificates, and we believe that this apprenticeship will make them more successful paraeducators. It will help us retain them as professionals because we're investing into their development, and ultimately it will help our students because they'll have more high quality paraeducators. Again, those of you that we estimate will have about 7 that will get their associate's degree, and we're very glad to hear that the news that this has been extended, so that might actually increase the number of folks that make it to the associate's degree. And what will happen is, one, they'll be better paraprofessionals and be one step closer to become teachers. Even if the grant runs out, what we've told them, and we've been upfront with everybody from the beginning, we will get you as far as we can on your journey if you want to become a teacher. So those associates will, those people with the associate's degree will be one step closer. And then ultimately our goal is to get at least 4 teachers out of this within this grant cycle, which we're fairly comfortable we're going to do. We've been working really closely with UNI, and they will start their program this coming May. So these 4 future teachers started with the first cohort, and they've been taking classes towards their teaching endorsement, but they will officially start with UNI this May, and we predict we'll be done with their teacher license by the end of this grant. So again, by the way, those of you that work with other community colleges, Kirkwood, for instance, they have multiple stackable credentials. So they have different paraeducator certificates. They have special ed paraeducator certificates. Some of them have ELL paraeducator certificates. So there's definitely an opportunity to build more stackable credentials. And I think that's where more programs will start going. So keep that in mind, that some of your colleges might have different options. All right, we'll move on to the next one. If there's any questions on that, please put them in the chat box. Our last strategy that we wanted to share with you is the internal versus external discussion or approach that we had. As you all know, first of all, we're all very thankful for this opportunity. This grant is a great resource for us. We went all in from the beginning. We didn't know, we knew we were going to have to build this as we went along. We knew there was a lot of unknowns because it was such a new program, but we went all in, not only having a bunch of informationals before we even got the grant, but expecting, we went for high numbers. But we also understood the very condensed time frame for not just the application, but the implementation. And so on top of that, the recruitment was going to be challenged within the time frame that we were given. So initially, we made the decision, excuse me, to focus on internal recruitment, focus on high school students and staff members within the school district that we could easily access to tell them about this program. Because if we wouldn't have done it, we just didn't have the time or the capacity to be able to focus on non-Perry public school employees. So that really helped us ramp up this program as quickly as we could. We don't have a marketing person at the school district. DMAC does, but that's a different relationship that needed to make sure we developed. But we suggest, if you haven't done it already, to really focus on your internal talent, because a lot of you have quality folks in your school districts that could make great paraeducators, that could make great teachers. And our long-term solution to some of our shortages is developing that high school pipeline. We've been working on it for a couple of years, so thankfully there's a lot of momentum on growing your own. If you don't have a teacher academy in your school district, your community college should be able to help you with that. These high school students could take the classes as high school students, the intro to education courses, and different opportunities that allow them to get a head start on their career as an educator. However, for sustainability, we are now realizing that we need to pivot to external recruitment. Folks that are outside of education that otherwise would not become paraeducators or teachers, because ultimately that's the goal of this grant, is to bring more quality teachers and paraeducators. And by only recruiting within your system, you're basically cannibalizing the rest of your staff to fill in another. So it's going to create shortages in other areas. So this April, we're going to pivot to hopefully starting a fourth cohort or fifth cohort this coming fall. And we're going to pivot to grabbing people from outside of education by just doing your traditional marketing. We have radio ads that we can do. We have social media. Our current apprentices are local celebrities now, because we highly publicize every little success that they have. So, which is very cute to see. Some of these folks are in their 30s, 40s, some of them are grandmas, and for them to, some of them are on the dean's list for the first time in their lives. So when they went on the dean's list for the community college, we blasted that all over social media, and you can imagine the number of shares that got when people got on the dean's list well into their 30s and 40s. So our social media marketing has been great. One, to keep encouraging our current apprentices, but more so to keep that momentum, to make sure that the community knows that this is a program that's going on that is valuable to our school district, and hopefully it will get other people to consider it for the next recruitment phase. print press releases. Like I said, we do promote our program quite a bit. Eventually, our hope is to do some sort of video to be able to get our apprentices on video in action and use some of those type of marketing to promote. The other thing that we're considering is going after alumni. We have young people that, or people of all ages really, that are connected to our school district in one way or another, who may have gone into a different career path and are now looking to refocus and maybe considering education. We have young people that have completed their associate's degree or will be completing their associate's degree this May. And what better opportunity for them to come back and become paraprofessionals for us, having had an associate's degree already, and then us being able to commit to helping them get their teaching degree through UNI. So we really want to try and target the recent grads that may be looking to get their bachelor's degree from somewhere, who have just graduated from a community college. Fortunately, we've already developed a little bit of a database of keeping track of some of these graduates, and we're going to be reaching out to them and trying to incentivize them into considering education as a career path. Those are some of the thoughts that we wanted to share with you. Again, we're still building this as we go along. We're always looking to revamp our recruitment, and hopefully there's some other ideas from this group that you all can share, but we're happy. Like I said, we will expect to double our original goal. Our original goal was 20. I'm pretty certain we're going to hit 40 by the end of this program. I'll turn it over to our group, see if there's anything else they want to add, and then if there's any questions, we'll definitely answer them. Clark, Connie, or Jessica?
I don't think I have anything. Great job, Eddie.
Jessica, what role do you play, Jessica, to make this successful? You gotta talk about that.
Well, I work closely with your admin assistant Joyce at the schools, and we just kind of handle making sure everybody's getting paid. I'm getting the DMAC receipts turned over to the school district to get turned in for reimbursements. That's really my role here. Connie?
So I'm the advisor that's kind of helped all these different cohorts, mostly the adults, go through. And what I've noticed and what I've learned is through that first cohort is we kind of wanted to grease the wheels a little bit. Many of them had no experience in college. So the key there was to get them started slowly, maybe taking 3 credits, like 2 credit class and 1 credit class, just very baby steps. By the second semester, they were building some momentum, and now by the 3rd semester, they're wanting to add, 3 or 4 more classes because they've learned what their capacity is. They've been able to discover what the perfect balance is with their life, their work, and now with school. So the secret is to not, the excitement might make them want to just, blast out of the starting gate, but they really, that first semester is really about taking it a little slow, letting them dip their toes a bit for them to be successful.
I'll add to that's another success that we'd like to promote. When we built the grant, we expected a 20% attrition rate, just because we knew that some of these folks who had not gone to college, but as of this semester, we've not lost any of our apprentices. So that's been very, very nice to see that even though there's been certainly some challenges, all this collaboration between the group has allowed us to keep supporting those apprentices through some of those challenges. And part of that was Connie's work of building enough load for them to carry without not succeeding.
Hi, Clark Wick, Superintendent at Perry. We did not have school today, so just to let you know that we still, as I think about this program and this grant, in one of the quotes, that African proverb said, if you want to go far, go together. And this has been a great example of DMAC and Perry schools helping each other. And for sure, Perry schools could not have done this without DMAC and these 3 folks that are here to get the grant, and then more importantly, to be able to execute all of the details with the grant, and then to give these folks that have not been in the classroom that kind of support, because I truly believe success breeds success. And we have to be able to get that synergistic attitude, and that is helping each other. And we just become stronger by working together. So kudos to DMAC and to these three people to help the Perry schools. And with public schools, the changing landscape that is going on as far as recruitment, as far as getting people to be teachers or paras, is immense. And this grant is helping us to do that. So to Eddie's point, sure, there's been a struggle, but we've tried to keep a good eye on the target. And that is, can we help paras and just people in general to become better paras? Or what a great opportunity if you want to be a teacher to get your tuition paid for, your books, and to get your teaching degree is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity. So partnership and doing things together is probably the main thing that I see with this apprenticeship. And it takes positive energy from everybody to continue this journey. So kudos to, again, DMAC and these three individuals, as well as some of the people at Perry Schools, our business office, as well as Laura Skeel, helping those paras to continue to move forward and find success. So those are some of the general comments that we've had here. And we want to continue to try to get more teachers involved with this. And again, their word is going to be the most powerful thing that we can have to continue to spread the word.
I want to thank you guys. First of all, that was fantastic. The things that you guys are doing, looking to evolve the program and grow it. I really appreciate the way that you've individualized it for each one of the apprentices, in terms of not just throwing them in deep, but giving them the supports and building that out. And I think those conversations will also lead to really great recruitment in building your program, because there's those supports that are built in to help facilitate that growth. Thank you guys so much. We did have one question, and I'm not sure whether or not we can answer this or not, but Jen Elbers asked the question. We've had some requests for handouts or potential participants to take home, read, think about. The IWD flyer is nice, but there is a lot of additional questions. Does anyone have anything already prepared as a takeaway print piece that could be shared, personalized by other consortiums for the recruitment efforts? Do you guys have anything that you've been utilizing?
We have a PowerPoint that we created for some of our orientations or informationals. I'd be happy to share that with you, but it's not a one pager, which sounds like is what they want.
Yeah. And I know that we don't have anything, but if there's any other consortium that's out there that might have something to share, if you want to send that to Jennifer Gray and myself, we would love to see that.
Chris,
can
I add something real quick? I just want to say thank you so much, Eddie and Perry, because I think sometimes, we get lost in the grant, and but you really brought it home today with why we are doing this. So I appreciate everything that you stated in your presentation. I do have a couple of thoughts with communication, like that marketing. We have an amazing communications team here, so we can definitely talk with them and have them come out and do videos, and any kind of marketing material we can definitely develop as well. So utilize us here at IWD for that as well, and we can help with recruitment too. The second thing is, I know you have some high school apprentices. Can you talk a little bit about how you recruited for that with the high school kids, the high school students? Because I think that piece is super important for them, for others to hear as well, because it jumpstarts their career into a teaching degree. It can lead into a teaching degree after they get that para degree. So if you could, I would appreciate it. So.
That's a great question, and I'm glad you brought it up because we think we could do a much better job at the high school recruitment. The truth is that we didn't jump in fully with high schoolers because we were not sure what this grant was going to fully be at the time. And so by the time the semester started last August, that recruitment had already taken place for the teacher academies that we have. So we will double the high school cohort for next semester. I'm certain of that. So one of the things we have in place right now is we have a teacher academy in partnership with DMEC and several school districts, not just Perry, but DCG is another one that got this grant and several other ones. We offer intro to education courses at the DMEC centers. And what we've done is reached out to the counselors. We have regional counselor meetings. We told them about this apprenticeship. And we told them now they can get paid for some of the hours that they do on the job training. So that's really helped. And what we're trying to do is create a teacher club. And so really, we're looking for sustainability beyond this grant. And so what we're going to try and do based with this grant is create some sort of future teacher club at several one of our high schools so that we can just continue this down the road. But that's how we did it. We expect to do it better this coming semester because we feel confident. We know what the program is now, and we just can support the recruitment a lot better. Does that answer your question, Jen?
It did. Thank you so much. I just know that you are, like you said, you're developing as you go along and you're doing it better and better and better each time. So I just wanted the other school districts to hear about that recruitment of high school apprentices, because again, that's a 2-year head start into the teaching degree if need be, if that's what they choose to do. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for those high school students. So go ahead.
Some of these students like to take classes during the summer, and some programs, some of your school districts have summer programming where you need paraprofessionals. So I think it's a good opportunity to leverage this more advanced.
Eddie, I think we're losing you.
Oh.
On the.
All right. I was saying that
There we go.
There you go.
students will be able to take classes during the summer or work for school district during the summer if you have paraprofessional needs. And I think that's really valuable for high school students because the more we can keep them engaged with K-12, the more likely I think that they'll end up ultimately become either paraprofessionals or teachers down the road. Because I do think our high school population, at least here at our district, is the more likely group to become teachers. So we have that is really looking to become teachers. They're just a lot younger, so it might take them a little bit longer.
Sure.
Eddie, I love that concept of getting them involved in the summer. That was something that we've talked about before in terms of getting utilizing our paraeducators as supplements to summer school. I was just thinking my sons go to Kids Teen Connect in Johnston, and could they hire the paraeducator type concept and utilize those hours and have them do some support pieces in a program like that? It's an all-day daycare type of thing for elementary kids, but could you put educational experiences into those type of programs? And all over the state we have different programs during the summer. So I love that creativity. I love those concepts and love that idea. We did have one more. We're a little over time, but we do have one question. Were the teachers and paraeducators guaranteed a teaching job upon completion?
No, when we wrote the grant and the contract for the teacher, the paras, We said if you complete this, you're guaranteed an interview. But we did not want to put anything in stone because things might change. But the truth of the matter is, it's very likely that we get a job, because if they've been in that program for this long, we've invested a lot until we know who they are. It would take a lot for them not to get a job, but nothing's guaranteed.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, that's a wrap. That we've answered all the questions. Once again, it's about great partnerships. A lot of you have amazing partnerships with your post-secondary institutions, the high schools, things like that. A lot of it comes down to just really great communication, getting information out to help support the growth of the program. And we want to be there to help you guys. We've all had our ups and downs, and I've said it in countless webinars that, we're building it as we go, right? As we're flying the plane, we're building it. And so we're here to continue to support and problem solve and try to help however we can. Eddie and Clark, and thank you guys for everything you guys are doing. Please, if you need anything, let us know. Excellent presentation today. We hope you guys have an awesome afternoon. For those of you that are iced in, be safe, and thank you.